Hey guys, John here. Welcome back to the series, How to Use Harmor. This is video 14, and today we're going to be talking about the EQ. Now, a relatively easy topic, but I feel like we should talk about it. So the first EQ here is going to be this EQ knob on the middle right, and if we right-click this, this is going to be our global EQ. So basically just a regular EQ. But the cool part about the EQ in Harmor is that this EQ is applied in the data section before it transmits to audio. That being said, traditionally EQs function on phase cancellation, and this is prior to that. So you're not actually EQing audio, you're EQing the data before it becomes audio. So basically, in a nutshell, you're going to get a very clean EQ out of this. So with the global EQ, like I said, is basically just a regular EQ. So a little demonstration here. If we have these both on hold and we drop this little notch down, so we have a kind of a trough here, we can see that we're cutting all the frequencies from about, what does this say exactly, about 261, 264 to about 525. And then up and down obviously is the volume, left and right is the frequency. I don't know, felt like I should mention that just in case. But the interesting part, so we kind of know how an EQ functions, at least hopefully. Now if we go to a default patch here and we go to the local EQ and do the same move here, you can see how it changes while I change the notes. So it's basically, imagine if you had an EQ that was tied to keyboard mapping. It's just those two features kind of in one. So that's kind of how it functions. The cool part too about this is, let's go to maybe a single curve here and a single curve here. Let's bring this to the top, and you can do just interesting kind of moves like this even. So it'll have one point here that's kind of going down and the other ones are going down to it and then up back to the regular size. So it kind of gives a little bit of a fade at a certain spot. Or you can emit in a frequency altogether. So this is kind of useful for certain type of sound shaping, I would say. That's where I would kind of jump into the local EQ. And then for the global EQ, maybe, for example, if let's do a default here, default section. Let's go to our global EQ, and let's find about maybe 1.3. Let's put a little node here, and then all the way up to about, let's say 3K here, and then let's put one here about in the middle, and then maybe we can use this here, take it off the magnet. And this is kind of used to maybe taper off the top end that might get a little too nasty at some points. We can notice it's kind of harsh, and we can just kind of dial that back. And like I mentioned before, the cool part is that this is processed on data first, and then it gets transferred to audio. So you might be thinking, well, this is cool and all that there's a built-in EQ, but I'm probably never going to use it because I have post EQ. And yes, that's true. You could totally also do that. But the benefit here is you're getting a very sterile, clean, almost surgical type of EQ if you're willing to put in the time for it and you want to draw in your shapes, for example. So if we go back to default again, and maybe we want to put a point here, and then we can drag this guy down a little bit and maybe make a notch here so we can kind of have a low pass kind of thing going on. And we can see that reflected right up here as well. Or we can steepen it too. And in a way we can kind of make our own type of filter shape, even though we also do have custom shapes. So basically, in a nutshell, the possibilities are kind of endless. So hopefully that clears up the EQ, and the local EQ is also to the top right of this list in case you didn't know that was there. So that was it in a nutshell. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.